They're gone, and yet they haunt you. A voice, a memory, a scent, something so small that it floods your entire body with grief. Not the soft, poetic kind, but the kind that leaves your chest hollow and your soul fractured. But what if I told you the person you miss never even existed? You didn't fall in love with them. You fell in love with what your mind made of them. You fell in love with the feeling they gave you. Or worse, the feeling you gave yourself when you were with them. Memory is not a photograph. It's a painting. And every time you look back, your mind adds another stroke, romanticizing, protecting, distorting. Because the mind doesn't want truth. It wants comfort. And comfort is dangerous. You remember their kindness, but forget the manipulation. You remember the way they smiled, but forget the way they left. You remember the dream, not the reality. This is the great illusion of longing. We grieve the ghost of someone who was never fully real. You say they changed. No, they didn't. You just finally saw who they were. But your heart, it still wants the character you created. The version of them that only existed in your head. The ideal, the savior, the soulmate. But you weren't in love. You were in need, and they fit your need like a puzzle piece designed in trauma. If this is too hard to hear, you can stop now, because it only gets darker from here. We don't miss people. We miss emotional roles. The comforter, the admirer, the rescuer, the mirror. And when that role disappears, we think we've lost a person. But what we've really lost is the function they served in our lives. They were a crutch, a screen, a drug. That's why heartbreak hurts like withdrawal, because it is. They gave you something you didn't want to give yourself. Validation, presence, escape. And now, you're left the aching wound where your illusion used to be. But here's the question that changes everything. What if you only loved how they made you feel? Because you hated how you felt alone. That's not love, that's avoidance. And we're all guilty of it. They weren't your soulmate. They were your distraction. They weren't your home. They were your shelter from a storm you refused to face alone. And the irony? The more you chase their memory, the more you delay your healing. Because healing doesn't mean letting go of them. It means letting go of who you were when you needed them. The real grief isn't about their absence. It's about confronting the emptiness they were covering. But the mind doesn't want this truth. It wants to keep replaying the good moments, the laughs, the warmth, the way they looked at you like you were everything. But here's the truth. If you were truly everything to them, they wouldn't have become nothing to you. It's time to wake up. They didn't abandon you. They revealed who they were, and you refused to see it. You romanticized red flags. You defended your pain. You argued with reality, all in the name of love. But you weren't in love. You were under a spell cast by your unmet needs, unresolved wounds, and inner emptiness. It's okay. You're not broken. You were lied to, not by them, but by your own longing. The worst part? They might not have even tried to deceive you. They were just being themselves. It was you who dressed them up in fantasy. And now, that fantasy is rotting in your mind like a decaying god you can't stop worshiping. If this is hurting to hear, good. That means you're waking up. Let me ask you something. If they came back today, exactly as they were, would you really want them? Or do you just want to escape the loneliness that followed them? Be honest, because your healing depends on it. You don't miss them. You miss the illusion, the distraction, the idea that maybe someone would finally love you the way you've refused to love yourself. And that's the final cut. Because real love, real healing, starts the day you stop asking someone else to do your inner work. They were a mirror, and you hated what you saw. So you broke the mirror instead of facing the reflection. Now, here you are, looking at the pieces, bleeding from the shards, wishing the mirror would come back and show you something better. But the truth is, you miss the person you thought they were, not who they truly were, not what they actually gave, only what you made up in the dark, lonely corners of your mind. So stop grieving a ghost that was never alive. Stand up, walk away from the graveyard of illusions, and don't just heal, rebuild. Because the person you've been waiting for, the one who will finally understand you, save you, see you, that person is you. And they've been waiting this whole time. If this truth burned, don't run. Let it burn the lie out of you. Let it cauterize the wound. Let it carve space for the truth. You were never abandoned. You were misled by your own imagination. And that might be the most liberating heartbreak of all. Subscribe to Philospiral, where we don't sell healing fantasies. We show you the truth that sets you on fire.